Yo. Welcome to the Bizarre Recap. I'm Amari Boyd.
I'm Akingala.
I'm Shiny Andordi.
I'm Julia Bautista.
And today we're starting with Season 1, Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure.
In 1868, a carriage accident leads to George Joestar to mistakenly believe that a thief named Dario Brando saved his life. Years later, George adopts Dario's son, Dio, to repay the debt. Dio arrives with a plan to ruin the Joestars and steal their fortune, because he's a hater. Tormenting Jonathan and Jojo by killing his dog, Danny, and stealing a kiss from his love interest. That's crazy.
Irina.
Irina.
Don't start that one. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back in context. So, excuse me. So let's going back in context. George adopts Dario's son, Dio, and to repay the debt because Dario ended up dying, and so he takes in Dio, and Dio and Jojo end up growing up together.
Wait, I have a question. How did he mistakenly believe a thief named Dario Brando saved his life?
Well,
Cause, there's two problems with that, right? Because not only is he a thief, but he saves I'm having trouble
Yeah.
Because I remember I watched it, but it was kind of confused what happened, you know what I mean? Because he just believed that he just saved him.
I think it shows later in the episodes, it shows later that it's like a recap where in the past where is it Dario the thief, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dario, he's in jail because he stole the ring, right? But George, he went back. He still believed he was a good man, and so I think he set him free. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and why George believes that Dario saved his life is because that's the first person he opens his eyes to.
Yeah.
After the accident, and he's
okay.
In a way caring for him. That's how George sees it.
Okay.
And because the wife Mary ended up dying in the accident, so he took. Make sure the son was okay, make sure George was okay. So that's why he felt like he needed to repay him for kind of taking care of them in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then going back to when Dio and Jojo, when they grow up together, you see how in the show Dio lives on the poor side of town. Obviously, you can see that. And the Joestars, they have a fortune. They're a rich family.
They're super rich.
And growing up together, it has this what would you say, jealousy?
Yeah, jealousy,
he's very
envious
of Jojo because he has everything that he wants.
Which makes no sense because he got adopted.
Yeah,
right?
But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Wait.
it's because he's humble, I would say. He sees Jojo as he sees Jojo as a spoiled brat.
What?
I mean, I guess.
It's so opposite. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Now, continue on. 7 years later, Jonathan discovers Dio is poisoning his father, George. Cornered, Dio uses the mysterious stone mask, which reacts to blood by firing spikes into the rarest brain, transforming them into a powerful vampire. And Dio kills George, unfortunately. And Jonathan barely survives by burning down the Joestar mansion with Dio inside. So let's give some context on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody want to pitch in first?
Me first? Freaking... I remember when I first watched it, I thought it was Jonathan that burned Dio inside of the thing. Oh, well, I mean, Jonathan did burn down the mansion.
Uh-huh.
But I thought it was Jonathan Jonathan was the one that stayed inside of the house. I didn't know. I didn't know I didn't know it was Dio.
He ended up surviving it, but yes, Dio did stay inside.
And then he died.
How did he
die?
He got stabbed through the statue, right?
I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he went through the statue, and it's the spike went through his torso.
Yeah,
No, I remember now. Sorry, guys. So when Dio's dying from the thing, it was he had to. Sorry, guys. He had to cut his head off, and that kind of leads into the next.
Wait. When Dio?
Wait.
Wait, what?
He cuts his head off to survive because he's a vampire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Dio did that. Okay, that makes sense.
And then later on, we see that he attaches his body to Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he continues on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Go ahead.
During Jonathan and Irina's honeymoon at the sea, Dio's head reappears and hijacks the ship. To ensure Dio is trapped, Jonathan mortally wounds himself to trigger an explosion, dying while creating his brother's head. Irina survives in a reinforced coffin, pregnant with the next generation of the Joestar bloodline.
So let's give some
crazy.
context on that one. So one of the, we're going to call him a little vampire zombie of Dio's. Jonathan ends up recognizing him on the ship, and he kind of is on guard now. And so it's kind of like a whole rumble thing. They end up fighting, and then...
So, wait, I have a question. How did he wounds himself to trigger an explosion? Was that like...
Huh?
He wounds himself to trigger an explosion? How did that like, did he have like, was him wounding himself like a trigger, like it was a trigger for this, was like how?
How did
Like,
that
what
happen?
do you mean?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Like how? Why was it a trigger? I was like confused.
Honestly, I don't specifically remember that part.
Actually?
Yeah, I don't specifically remember, but we do see later on in the show that because he wounds himself and stuff and he dies in an explosion while holding his brother's head, Dio ends up taking advantage of that and using Jonathan's body. So he kind of attaches his head onto to live, like to have a physical body to move in. Because,
Obviously,
he has his head and stuff, but
Yeah.
But he needs a physical body.
yeah.
Wait, so Jonathan died in the explosion?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I
what
mean,
the
okay, that
heck?
makes sense. Because wait, did he like explode himself, or was it explode like somewhere else? Or I'm assuming he exploded himself, right?
I thought he got his head cut off by like one of Dio's minions or something.
Yeah.
That's how he got the body. I didn't know he died.
I think he exploded himself, and then like the wounds just killed him, and then that's when Dio was able to like hijack his little body.
Oh, yeah.
So then, when it says Irina survives in the coffin, and then she's pregnant with the next Joestar bloodline, in the show, it kind of skips over Jonathan and Irina's son. I'm pretty sure his name is George Joestar
Yeah.
the second, and it just goes straight to the grandson, which is Joseph Joestar, and which that is part 2, which is battle tendency. And we'll like start with that.
It says in part 2 we meet Caesar Zappelli, master of Hamon, the Ripple, a martial art that uses controlled breathing to produce energy identical to sunlight. The only thing that can kill a vampire. They train under Lisa to take down the ancient Pillar Man, joined by a reformed street thug named Robert E.O. Speedwagon. Ancient Pillar Man, they lived thousands of years ago, sleeping for millennia. They can reshape their bodies into weapons, absorb Hamons by touching them, and possess superior intellect. Their primary weakness is sunlight, which turns them into stone, and the Ripple Hamon to find the red stone of Acha to perfect the stone mask and become immune to sunlight.
Okay, so let's give a little context on that. So if you're wondering who Lisa is Joseph's mother. Going back, that is George Joestar the second's wife. And Joseph doesn't find that out until later in the show, but he trains under his mother.
Okay.
And then Caesar Zappelli, back in the first part, there's the first hormone user. He's a Zappelli, and he actually helps them train to use the hormone, or to learn how to use the hormone. But he ends up dying, but he gives his hormone to Jonathan so he can defeat. Well, and what Jonathan thinks was to defeat Dio, but he ends up surviving anyways, unfortunately. And Mr. Speedwagon, we love him.
We do.
It goes on for that last name goes on for a really long time in the show. But the Ancient Pillar Men, there are these 3 vampires that are looking, I'm going to say take revenge in the sense to get their mask back because it was stolen from them. And if you're wondering how the Joestars had it in the first place, was the wife, Mary Joestar, in the beginning, when we go back to the crash, she had actually bought it from an antique shop, and that was among the luggage that was carried in the accident. And so after her death, George Joestar, he just continued to possess it until years later when Dio discovers it and becomes a vampire himself because he's cornered. What else? It and let's give a little bit more context on part 2 with Caesar. So, sorry guys,
That's okay.
Joseph is fighting with one of the pillarmen. It's the first pillarman that the Nazis actually experiment on, and they pretty much awoken him from his slumber.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he's actually the weakest one, so
Right.
that was kind of But the other two pillarmen, they are encountered with Joseph, and they end up putting we're gonna say a curse in a sense,
On Joseph.
a poison on Joseph, and it's like he has a month to re-challenge them, so the poison doesn't kill him.
Through the heart, right?
Yes,
the heart,
through
yeah.
the heart. And so that's when Caesar and them come in, that he has the master hormone to beat them. But at the end, R.I.P. Caesar, he ends up fighting, sorry guys, spoiler. He ends up fighting Wamu.
Well,
Yes,
no.
he ends up fighting Wamu to his literal last breath, just so he could get the antidote, because they keep the antidote in their jewelry. And he ends up getting the antidote and giving the rest of his hormone
To Joseph.
to Joseph, just like his ancestor.
Exactly, bro.
But
Do we learn more about the ancient pillarmans? Like, do we know?
if you watch the show, yes,
Okay, yeah. If
Yeah.
there's a lot
watching-
more context to them.
Interesting.
Those episodes were so long, but they were
Yeah.
interesting.
They're very interesting. But
If
this,
you
this
do,
is just the
They can
recap.
be
There was a bunch
Yeah.
of it was information packed. I feel like that.
Yeah,
episode.
yeah, information pack.
Okay.
But does anybody else have any?
Yes, I just want to say,
The art style.
bro. The art.
Bro,
Jojo art
The
style.
art
The art
style.
style is good.
It's mid, bro.
The
It's
art
mid.
style is good.
No. But what I really want to say is that you know the breathing, the how long breathing technique, bro.
Yeah.
That reminded me of hella Demon Slayer, bro.
Oh,
The-
demons?
and like low key,
Yeah.
like the way the correlation is hella there because the vampires / demons are immune to sunlight, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he has a breathing style which emulates the sun, right? Which emulates the sun, so he can
Yeah.
actually kill the vampires. That's literally just sun breathing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sun breathing,
Reference was-
and sun breathing is exactly what's needed to defeat the demons. You know what I mean? Like that's like
Yeah.
the most effective breathing style to like defeat the demons. So correlation. Obviously, there's obviously like a positive correlation with that. You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
see the correlation.
Maybe Demon Slayer took from Jojo's because I'm pretty sure Jojo's
Maybe.
Jojo's like
Wait.
pretty old, right?
It was like a classic.
Jojo's
That
like
was-
20. It's like
Yeah.
they're like 20,
Wait,
20
Jojo's
something years old.
How old
It's
is
like super-
Jojo?
Yeah, it's
Jojo's
sure,
super.
so
Jojo's super unk, bro.
When
Jojo's
was
Super
this
unk.
made?
Yeah, Jojo's super.
It's like a
duper
classic
unk.
for sure.
2012.
It's-
20.
That's
Oh,
not
that's
even-
that's
No,
not
it's
crazy.
10 years. That's 10 years ago.
That was 14 years ago.
Oh
Right
wait.
here it says 2004.
1987 to 2004.
The manga.
Was that like an old manga?
Did
When
they
the
s-
shows came out.
The
Oh, when the
shows
shows
came
came
out.
out. Okay.
Okay,
Like
so
the manga
came
was
out.
around for like way
The
long.
Yeah.
manga itself
So, no,
probably long.
Jojo's like up there with Dragon Ball in age, bro.
Goodbye. Look at this. The live action. What
They
the
heck
heck?
live
The
action. We not
action?
watching that.
Every
Bro.
live action is never good. Like Death Note live action was so.
The only live action that I've
God.
heard that's like been like people that like have like slightly positively received was the One Piece live action.
Isn't it
Also,
still
Erased
ongoing?
live action.
Yeah, it's one that's
Erased.
ongoing, but
Have
like
you seen
that's
that one?
that's the only one that I've heard like people
Erased
like
live
actually like.
action.
You know,
Live action. That was bad.
Okay. Well,
Avatar: The Last Airbender live action. Anyways, that's what that's the
Oh,
point.
oh my
That was
gosh.
bad.
okay, guys. So that's all for the bizarre recap, season 1, Phantom Blood and a Battle Tendency.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything else to say?
I don't know if I'll continue watching this.
Oh, let's give our ratings.
Wait,
what is
why?
your rating off of season 1?
Season. Keep watching.
Yeah, I'll
Smooth.
give
It
it.
gets better.
Yeah,
I'll give it a
does.
6. I mean, it's pretty good, interesting. It's a good, interesting start. I feel like it just kind of feels fast paced as well. Like,
But I
feel
like
we're
the
moving on
fast
too
pace. I feel like when it's too slow,
I'm
I
not saying
get-
like
I
don't-
would. I'll admit the first season is very like let's get straight to the point.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first season is just getting that history out of the way so
Yeah.
we can start into like the, more
actual
interesting
the
stuff.
actual.
But I'm gonna give it a season 1. For season 1 alone, I'm gonna give it like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, like 6 or 7.
I was gonna give it. I was gonna give it a 6.5. I think it's all right, but
Who knows?
I'm
Maybe
gonna
I'll
give
continue
it-
watching. I don't know.
exactly.
This art style gets way better though,
Yeah.
and the characters they get
Oh,
Yeah.
Amazing.
the intro was
The
the
intro,
best.
yes.
I won't lie.
part two intros was
The main, I think.
Oh, no, yeah, it is part
part
two
two
because
intro
that's
was
Joseph,
amazing.
huh?
Yeah,
Yes, that's like one of the best intros.
the
ever.
animation, everything.
Exactly, bro.
Like, where was that in the anime?
Season
Where's that? Yeah,
season
that's
4
crazy.
outro. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Honestly, I think I'm gonna keep watching just because I want to get to that because you know I wasn't really watching Jojos back because I didn't watch Jojos back then, right? So
Yeah.
I didn't mind if I got spoiled or anything.
Yeah.
So I watched this freaking review on Joseph's daughter, I think.
Jolene.
Yeah, Jolene. I watched a like recap of like her little season, and I'm trying to get to that because the art, because I really like
Yeah,
the
the art
animation.
style there is
The like
good.
that because that was like that's like way ahead. That's like season. That's what season? That's like season 4, right?
Yeah.
I think Jolene's season.
No,
like,
season 4 is with. That's my favorite season.
4. Oh, Mista.
Mista.
Okay, so that's the one with Mista. Okay.
That's the one with Mista.
So yeah, whatever season it is, I think I'm gonna watch up to there. And then if I watch up to there, I'll see if I like it. But so far,
Yeah.
a smooth 6.5.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
that's all for the Bizarre Recap. I'm Amari Boyd, signing off.
I'm Yannick Ngala, signing out.
Cheyenne Yaldordi signing out.
Juliet Bautista signing out.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.